Hello, and welcome to Junior Nationals 101. My name is Ashley Fillets, and I work with Move United in the competitions department, and I'm excited to bring you this webinar to go over everything you need to know about Junior Nationals. This webinar will prepare you to determine if you qualify, teach you how to register, and give important next steps for athletes interested in competing at Junior Nationals. Before we jump into what you need to know about Junior Nationals and registration, let's take a look back at where we started. The first National Junior Wheelchair Championships was held July 27th through 29th in 1984 in Wilmington, Delaware. This event began with 3 sanctioned events for wheelchaired athletes, and today, this same event, called Junior Nationals, now includes 7 sporting events, sport clinics, education sessions, and socials over 7 days annually in host cities across the country. Move United Junior Nationals, presented by the Hartford, is the largest long-standing annual multi-sport event in the United States for youth with a physical, visual, or intellectual impairment who are classifiable under the International Paralympic Committee's classification system. In early June, a webinar entitled Junior Nationals 102 will be delivered and sent out with more site-specific and travel information to better prepare you before you travel into Metro Denver. We can't wait to see everyone there. The 2022 Move United Junior Nationals, presented by the Hartford, will be held in Metro Denver, Colorado, July 16th through 22nd. On our webpage, which I will reference during this webinar, juniornationals.org, you'll see on the screen now, you scroll to the bottom, it begins to have all of the information that we are going to talk about today. The first thing you'll see is a little blurb about Junior Nationals, but we are actually going to scroll down a little farther. During this webinar, we'll cover everything that you need to know about qualifications, about registration, and then just some general information that you should know before you jump into Junior Nationals 102. So you'll see we have a couple main sections here, one on athlete eligibility, classification rules, one for athlete, coaches, and guide registration, a section for schedules and venues, a section on the host city and our hotels, a section from volunteering, a section for sponsors, a section for media, and a section for past athlete results from previous Junior Nationals. We're going to start though with the main thing, which is how to get to Junior Nationals. So let's open here under Athlete Eligibility, Classification, and Rules to learn a little more about how to qualify for Junior Nationals 2022. So there are some basic eligibility requirements that you need to be aware of in order for attendance at Junior Nationals. The first is each athlete must be under the age of 23, and this is measured by the athlete's age on December 31st, 2022. The athlete must also have a physical, visual, or intellectual impairment that is classifiable under the International Paralympic Committee's classification system. We've gone ahead and put the link there if you have any questions on that. The next is the athlete must achieve a required qualifying standard prior to Junior Nationals registration deadline. So our main registration deadline without penalty is June 27th. You have a 3-day kind of pad on that till June 30th with a late fee for registration. So all qualifying standards must be met prior to June 30th at the latest. And the last one is that the athlete must be nationally classified or request national classification at Junior Nationals, which will be available for archery, swimming, and track and field. So as far as qualifying events go, Move United has a series of sanctioned competitions in 2022, and 25 total is where I believe we are at. All of those sanctioned competitions through Move United will count as qualifying event opportunities for Junior Nationals to get qualifying times. The designated qualification period for reaching a standard is starting from August 1st, 2021 until right before Junior Nationals registration. Qualifying standards must have been met or surpassed at a Move United sanctioned competition, which we'll talk about in a second, a national governing body or high school athletic association sanctioned event, or other event as approved by Move United. We've gone ahead and linked here our sanctioned competition calendar, and it'll let you know the dates, location, contacts, sports, and how to register for any of our 25 sanctioned competitions across the country. If you have specific questions on events that are not sanctioned events through Move United, if they meet qualifying standards, you need to reach out to Jessie Cloy, jcloy at moveunitedsport.org to make sure that those qualifying standards will be accepted. What we've gone ahead and done is below provided each of our 7 sports that will be contested at Junior Nationals this year. And then when you open them up, you'll actually see specifically what those qualifying standards are for Junior Nationals. So we're going to start with archery. So if we open it up on the plus sign over here, you'll see the Move United Archery rules, the competitive distances for age group, types of bow, and classification. You'll see extra information down here that you'll need to know for classification. And then you'll also, if you read to go on, it'll tell you how to make sure that you get those standards officially marked and sent in when and how you'll report them on our registration page. If you scroll down to para powerlifting, very much similar. You've got your age groups, how to qualify. There is qualification opportunities for those that are unable to make a meet in person. You can do a video submission to some of our judges, and as long as they qualify that you've met a certain weight and that you've processed the weight correctly, you can be eligible to compete that way. So if you want more information on that, you can contact Jessica Cloy, or you can contact our sport lead for para powerlifting as well. If you come down to para triathlon, again, you'll open it, you'll see the divisions that we have, the distances that we have, and then how to qualify. Para triathlon is a little different. So there are some equipment needs for wheelchair, ambulatory, and visual impairment. You can read more about them here. Shooting. So all of our shooting information is down here. Match results from your qualifying competition will be sent to Jessie. And then if you need more information on Move United, USA Shooting, or ISSF regulations, you can find that here. For swimming, you've got our Move United rules and our qualifying standards, our age groups that are accepted at Junior Nationals. If you participate in a USA Swimming, YMCA, NCAA, or high school sanctioned swim meet, reporting officials will fill out this proof of performance. If we open up track and field, you'll see the Adapted Track and Field USA rulebook, as well as the Junior Nationals track and field qualifying standards. You'll see the age groups that we have, additional rules and stuff that coaches need to know, and then how to submit performance results. And then last is one of our new sports to us. Starting this year, we will offer wheelchair tennis as our 7th contested sport at Junior Nationals. So eligibility requirements are these first couple things, and then USTA's Friend at a Court 2022, more information and resources for players can be found down here. So this is what you need to know as far as just in general how to qualify for each sport for Junior Nationals. Again, if you have any questions on that, please feel free to reach out to Jessie Cloy at jcloy at moveunitedsport.org. I'm going to close these up real fast. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll read a little more about specifically what classification is, who needs to be classified, what athletes with physical, visual, and intellectual impairments may look like, and then general rules for Move United events. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, once we've determined that we've qualified for Junior Nationals, is how we actually register for Junior Nationals. So there's 2 different portals that you go through for Junior Nationals. To reach both of them, you're going to click right here where it says click to register. I highly suggest that you use a desktop or a laptop to do this through the web page, as opposed to doing it on a mobile device. Our website shows up just a little differently on a mobile device, and it might not give you some of the same choices. So I'd highly suggest you do it on a desktop or a laptop computer and not a mobile device to register if possible. So on our registration main page, you'll see that registration went live on May 2nd, and it runs through June 27th. Late registration runs through June 30th, but that is an additional fee. Up at the top right here, you have 2 buttons, one for athlete registration and one in coach and guide for coach and guide registration. So all athletes are going to use this athlete registration link, and then coaches who have a reduced rate and guides who are free are going to register through here. You can also see these same links down below. Before we move on to what's included in athlete registration, I did want to go ahead and stop and point out that we do have a COVID-19 plan for junior nationals that everybody should know before heading into Colorado. That is available here, and any changes that are made as we follow national and state guidelines will be updated here. National classification, if you need to get classified in one of those 3 sports that we talked about from before, archery, swimming, and track and field, you'll use these links to do that. After you complete your registration, one of the things that we specifically like to do is make sure that major news media outlets know about the athletes that are coming to compete in junior nationals, know their story, know their triumphs, and that they can actually kind of follow athletes from their state, athletes from specific sports. So one of the things that we ask of all of our athletes is they complete this athlete bio form that just tells us a little bit about who you are, what makes you tick, what you enjoy about junior nationals, what you enjoy about sport, so that we can better kind of promote you to media outlets to follow your story throughout junior nationals. Before we get in again to the registration, I do want to point out the fees. So if you're an athlete, for 1 sport, it's $50 for registration, 2 sports is $100, 3 sports is $150, and 4+ sports is $175. There is a $50 late registration fee that's added on top of this. And then we will have daily lunches that are available for purchase for athletes and then also for family members and friends that are accompanying them. A daily lunch ticket is $8.50 a piece. When we go through registration, I'll give you a little more detail on what vendors are going to be supplying lunch each day. You're able to purchase these now at this point in time, and then you're as availability remains, you're also able to purchase on site when you check in, or sometimes even at the lunch tent if you would like additional lunch tickets. It makes it so that you don't have to go off-site to find lunch, and it could be a great option, specifically if you're spending the full day with us at Move United and you're not leaving the area to travel or go see any of the cool things that Denver has to offer. As well, you also have a closing celebration dinner ticket. So at Junior Nationals, we have 2 big special events that we run. We have a welcome ceremony, which you will not need a ticket for this year, as well as a closing celebration that is at the tail end of our event. That closing celebration will be held at our host hotel, the Denver Marriott, and it will be $25 per athlete and adult. Under 5 are free, and those are first come, first serve through registration. So you want to make sure if you're interested in doing that, you go ahead and buy tickets, because we do have a limited number available. For coaches, basically there is one price. So if they're 1 sport plus, it's $50. Again, coaches have the availability to purchase lunch tickets and closing ceremony tickets. Coach registration will stay open until 7:20, and then coaches that register after 6:30 can still register, but they're not guaranteed an event t-shirt or printed credential. We can give them a non-printed credential on site, but we order a set amount of t-shirts at the beginning, and if we don't know, we can't anticipate. And then the last category is athlete guides. So entry fees for athletes guides will include a t-shirt, so make sure you give us that information. Guides are for athletes specifically with a visual impairment, which are allowed by sport rules. So there's no fee for a guide, there's no late registration fee, and guides are also welcome to purchase daily lunch tickets, welcome ceremony dinner tickets, and welcome ceremony dinner tickets and closing ceremony tickets. So let's go back up to athlete registration, and I'll take you through what that's going to look like as you register. So when you click on the link, you'll see this box up here. I'm going to walk you through this with me as an example and show you what fields you're going to need to populate so that you know that you have everything you need before you come in to do this. So you're going to give us first your basic information. You're going to give an address. Do the Move United one. And you want to make sure for our coaches and parents that are registering an athlete, this address and email need to be specific to the athlete or family, so not the coach. So if you're a coach registering multiple athletes, each address and email need to be specific for that athlete. So if the athlete is a minor, the parent email will work, but we do need a postal address for the athlete so that we are able to send updates on nationals and junior nationals in the upcoming years as well. So you're going to give us an email in here. Go ahead and place in your sex. I'm going to alter my date of birth so that it lets me compete, because unfortunately I am not under the age of 23. That should work for me. We'll make me that. Oh, let's go back. Thanks. And then you're going to pick your team that you're with here. So you have a lot of choices of all of our member organizations here. You also have 2 additional choices. You can be an independent athlete, which we have a lot of athletes that are not affixed to a team. So that's what we'll select here. The other option is not listed if there's another team that you participate with. So I'm going to be an independent athlete for this example. And now this is where you're going to request classification and go ahead and put in your event. So I'm going to go ahead and request classification for archery. I'm going to go ahead and say that I already have classification for shooting. I already have a classification for swimming. And I already have a classification for track, but I need it for field, and I am seated. So next you're going to go through the actual sports. So if you want to participate in archery, you're going to go ahead and give me your qualifying standard here. I think it'll let me get by without doing this. Your division that you need classification, and your bow type. Let's do 3, 1, 5, 6. I'm going to pick a qualifying meet. I do not use a bow stand, and I don't have a USA Archery member number. So you'll go ahead and do that for the rest of our sports. So if you wanted to go ahead and opt in for pair triathlon, you're going to put a time in, your division, your classification, your 200 free swim result, your 200 free swim qualifying meet, your track, your 1500 meter track result, and your qualifying meet. If you need to borrow equipment, your type of disability, height, and weight. So basically these last 3 pieces of information help us to kind of pinpoint what particular equipment you might need to borrow. We're going to unselect that. All right, if we want to do shooting, we're going to put our time in, our qualifying time for shooting, our division, our classification, if we need to borrow equipment, if you're not planning to travel with it. Do we have sufficient arm strength to support the weight of an air rifle, where your qualifying competition was? For swimming, depending on the event, so these are event specific, you'll see all the events for swimming right here. You'll put in your time, the course, whether it's long course meters, short course meters, or short course yards. That's important. Division, classification, and your qualifying competition. Track and field is very similar to swimming in that you'll select your event that you want to participate in, your qualifying standard, your division, your classification. Again, I've already said I was classified. If I said I needed classification, just put need classification here. Your qualifying competition, and then any other information if it was outside of one of the qualifying competitions that we have listed. And then the last thing to show you would be wheelchair tennis. So you would pick whether you're juniors division, and then whether you're open classification or quad classification. So once you have selected that, I'm going to go ahead and say next. Now, this is where it's going to allow me to do my add-on. So you'll see under my number of sports, I've only selected that one, so it's registering as 50. The next thing that I'm able to do is get my complimentary t-shirt. I want 1 of those. I'm going to go ahead and give my size. We'll do an adult medium. You do have an opportunity for family and friends to purchase the event t-shirts if they would like additional as well. We just need to know this at registration time in order to have those sizes and quantities available during the event. So if you want to do that, you would click this box, hit show more info. I'm going to say I want 2 extra ones, and you'll see that I get to pick my size for each of those 2 extra shirts. We do have youth and adult sizes available. Here is where you're going to purchase your closing ceremony and lunch tickets. So closing ceremony, if you're 6 and up, if we click that here, you're going to say you want 3 tickets, say it's myself, my mom and my dad. I'm going to put in for each person if they have any dietary restrictions. That out and then click that. you have anyone that's attending the closing ceremony and they're under 5 years of age, you want to go ahead and click that box and just let me know how many will be coming and if they have any food allergies or restrictions there. And then we had talked about our lunch availability on site. So again, each lunch is $8.50. We are still waiting on final confirmation for our Wednesday lunch and Sunday lunch, but the lunches that we do know is we have Mexican on Monday, Jersey Mike's on Tuesday, so this is going to be a deli sandwich, chips, and cookies. On Thursday, we have a Mexican taco party, and on Friday is Chick-fil-A. So those are the lunches that we know for now, with Wednesday and Sunday coming as soon as possible. You can purchase them on site as availability remains, but I would highly suggest, if you're interested, that you go ahead and buy your lunch tickets now so that you have them before you come to the event, and we will give you them at check-in. And again, you can purchase lunch tickets for family and friends as well, so you guys don't have to leave site if you're looking for something quick and easy while you are competing. So I think we're good there. Let's uncheck my t-shirt. So next, if you have an IPC license number, you're going to put that in here. This is just some additional information that we ask for everyone to complete. You're going to tell us about your disability. If you would like to request a deaf interpreter, we need to know that before you attend Junior Nationals, so please let us know that here. So I'm going to say no. Your coach's name. So everybody should have a coach who has either put them forward or is attending with them for Junior Nationals. So you're going to give me your coach information, phone number to reach your coach, an email address. If you have a guide runner, this is where you're going to put that they're your guide runner and what their email. You're going to give me an emergency contact with the relationship, phone number, and email, and it's going to make me do that. So let's do myself, which is not correct. It needs to be someone other than yourself. We'll just say I'm the mother. Emergency contact email. We want to know how many years you've attended Junior Nationals. If you're new this year, you're going to select that for me. Then you have 2 years, 3+, 5+, and 10. We have additional education sessions and sport clinics that are available throughout the week. So let's go through these right now. You can go ahead and check the ones that you're interested in attending. You can also, as space remains, still participate when you get on site if you're not exactly sure of your schedule. But if you want to go ahead and register for these and hold your spot, we'd love you to. First thing we have is on Sunday, an indoor adaptive climbing dropping clinic with limited spots. We want to make sure that we sign up on the Move United website for that, and that's Sunday from 10 to 1. Also on Sunday from 3 to 6, there's a swim clinic. There is a para powerlifting clinic on Sunday from 7:15 to 8 o'clock. There's a second indoor climbing dropping clinic, again, limited spots. Sign up on the Move United website on Monday from 10 to 1. There's a shooting 101 clinic. So if you're interested in knowing more about shooting and trying it out, that's Monday from 12:30 to 1:15. Our first education session, which is accessing the pipeline and competition, on Monday from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. We have 2 wheelchair tennis clinics, one on Wednesday from 9 to 10:30 and a second on Wednesday from 12:30 to 2. An education session on expanding DEI initiatives in the competitive adaptive sport field. That is Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:15. There's another education session, which is an athlete session on mental performance coaching on Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:15. Additional sport clinic on blind soccer. So if you're interested in that, that's Thursday from 1 to 2:30. And lastly, a cycling clinic on Thursday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock for those that are interested. The next thing that we need to know is if you are involved with sports at your school. So I'm going to say yes, I'm involved at the college level. You're going to give me the sports that you were involved with at your school. You're going to give me some more demographic here, like your race. If you identify as being Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. If you consider yourself a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, we'll say no. And I identify my gender as, you're going to select one of these options right here. Didn't like one thing. Let's see what it didn't like that I missed. Yeah. Oh, what is my disability? I will be other. right? So then you're going to get to your final review where you can review your information that you've listed so far and select your waivers. So you'll see all the information that what you're registering for, the events that you're registering for that I selected. Remember, I only selected archery. What we purchased as add-ons. So this would be where you purchase lunch tickets if you did, and the extra demographic information. The next thing over here is our waivers. So you will need to fill out these waivers. Each athlete will need to fill out these waivers and have a parent sign off on them if they're under the age of 18 prior to participation in junior nationals. So the first is our Move United waiver and liability release agreement. So you can check this box and you'll fill it out at the link here. The Move United Code of Conduct. So by checking this box, you're agreeing that you've read them. They are also linked in here, and then this one you can scroll through and that you agree. So this is our Move United Code of Conduct, and this is for athlete, coaches, and other representatives that will be on site. You've got your athletic trainer consent form. So basically you'll read through this, and if you agree, you'll check that box. As you are traveling to Metro Denver, one of the big things to note is that you are going to Colorado, and Denver is considered the Mile High City. So if you've never competed at altitude before, there are a lot of things that we want you to know about how to safely compete at altitude. So there's altitude and climate tips here. We just want you to confirm that you have read these, that you understand how to best be prepared to participate in altitude and what things like altitude sickness or heat sickness might feel like on site, so that you can seek medical help if you're feeling any of these symptoms. You're going to, on the next box here, select that you agree to our COVID-19 protocols. Again, they've been linked here so you can read them beforehand. You're going to click here that you acknowledge that you have read Simply Register's terms of use for registration services. This next box is that no refunds are available for this event. So cancellation and refund policy will be on a case-by-case basis if needed. You need to contact Jesse Cloy, jcloy@moveunitedsport.org if you need to talk through that. You've got our privacy policy, our delivery policy, and customer service. And when you're ready, you'll check out. Now, if you're a parent and you are registering another athlete, this is where you would go back in. If you're a coach and you're registering an athlete, you need to do each one individually. Once you go there, you'll go to checkout. They'll put in a credit card information for your total amount due, and you'll get a receipt. I do want to back up and just remind you that as you are finishing your registration, you want to make sure you do that athlete bio form. One of the new things that we have coming out for Junior Nationals 2022 is we will have an app that will control all things Junior Nationals throughout the week. It'll have gamification, so there'll be some fun challenges that each athlete can participate in live on site. It will have all of our events loaded into it with sessions and scheduled for the week. It'll have a Q&A, so if you have questions while you're on site, you'll be able to directly message with Move United staff in order to get your questions answered. It'll give you location information, like where are the venues, maps on how to get around, recommended restaurants, etc. But we also have a section when you come out here. So schedules and venues, if you open this here, it will give you the general schedule for the week. So if we open these up, we'll see what's happening when. But what I wanted to point out is all of our event venues are located down here specifically so that you know where you're going. And then if you go back, you'll see host city and hotels. So I'm going to click open this section and scroll down. So Visit Denver has prepared a bunch of things for us. So the first would be they've put together a list of things to do in and around Denver with local suggestions down here. So there are 2 links to learn all you need to know about what to do and visit in Denver and things that you can do. Suggestions from the locals is a great link because it links you to accessible hikes and ways to enjoy the outdoors in Denver. And then the last thing is this Colorado altitude and climate tips. So again, make sure you're familiar with that so you can better prepare before you come on site. And then lastly, we did want to go ahead and put out our hotels. So this is our host hotel, the Denver Marriott Westminster. You've got the address, the direct link to book on the website. Make sure you, if you are intending on booking with the Marriott, it is first come, first serve until the room block is filled up. So there is a link to do that for a reduced rate of, it comes out to about 160 plus with tax. Goes ahead and lets you know everything that's included in that rate, as well as a hotel description, and they have prepared for us an additional document of restaurants and stores within a 2-mile radius for those that are interested. And then our alternative hotel is nice because it actually shares the parking lot with the Denver Marriott. So this is the Hyatt Place Westminster. It's literally right next door. The direct booking website is coming soon. It's the same 160 plus with tax. Room rate included, information is down here, as well as the hotel description, and information on area attractions and restaurants can be found here. All right. So I did want to kind of take a second to stop and just let you know that travel information will be gone over in detail as far as what airport we suggest to fly into. Denver International is the best in most cases. How to get to junior nationals, how to drive around, what the sports venues are like. That's all going to be talked about in Junior Nationals 102, which will be available starting about mid-May to early June. We'll send out an email when that's available, and that will give you more specific information on traveling to the site and participating in Junior Nationals when you're on site. If you have any questions about anything that was presented here specifically before you register, because that's the best time for questions, but then of course we're happy to answer questions at any point in time, we'd like you to reach out to Jessie Cloy, again at jcloy@moveunitedsport.org, and she will be able to best direct you to either the information or a staff member that can help you. We are very excited to see everyone back in person in Metro Denver in 2022 for Move United Junior Nationals presented by the Hartford, and can't wait to talk to you again in Junior Nationals 102. Have a fantastic rest of your day.